r/nosleep. Posted by u/fluffyboy2. The rain will kill me if it doesn't stop. It started to rain when it was 6 p.m. yesterday. It wasn't big, just a small rain. In the town I live in, rain barely lasts for 3 hours, but when I was on my bed at around 10:30 p.m., the outside was still raining. No big deal, right? It should stop by the next morning. I woke up to something tapping the window. The whole room was dark. It shouldn't be at 7 a.m., even with the curtains fully shut. I decided to investigate where the tapping sound was located. With a light swing, the curtains flung on both sides and revealed the window. There was nothing outside but fog. No, there is something outside. It's just my window was being covered with fog. Raindrops were running everywhere on the window. I opened the window and swoosh. Strong wind and raindrops came inside the room, sending chills down my spine. It was unbelievably cold. I quickly used my hand to wipe the fog off of my window, then closed it as fast as I could. It wasn't a good idea to open the window without having clothes on. I put on my t-shirt and then wore my boxer. Don't judge me, I live alone. When I finished doing so, I walked back to the window. It was once again covered with fog. Although the window was closed, I could still feel the cold air coming in. The rain by that point was way heavier than last night. As if every hour passed, the rain just gets heavier and heavier. My stomach was growling and I figured that in weather like so, a cup of hot chocolate and sandwiches would suit the mood. And that's what I did. I made some BLT sandwiches and then a cup of hot chocolate. I brought them over to the table in the middle of the kitchen and placed them on there. I sat down on a chair at the end of the table. As I was about to bite into the BLT sandwich, I noticed that I still need to turn on the TV. I grabbed the remote, which was also on the table, and then pressed the turn on button. When the TV was on, the first thing I saw was a news channel. I wasn't interested in the news, so I quickly switched over to the sports channel. However, the sports channel was also showing the same news. I tried it on different channels, but they were just news. The cup of hot chocolate was getting warmer from the cold breeze coming from the window in the kitchen. I gave up looking for something else besides the news and then dug my teeth into the sandwich. When I got into the third bite, I heard a woman's voice on the news. The news channel was just a local one, so I could realize the woman who was saying it. And now, we'll move on to the weather report. She started off by saying, "So, we have received reports about unusual weather activities in the town. It seems like that there will be a long rain and it rains." She stopped midway, her eyes frowned. "Vertically and horizontally?" I stopped midway from eating my sandwich. She turned her head over to a side, talking to someone off screen. "Is there something wrong in the script?" she asked. I couldn't hear the answer, but then she turned back at the camera and then smiles. That's the end of today's news. And as soon as she said that, the whole screen went black. Before I could even see what was going on, the TV lit up the kitchen once again. It shows the logo of the news station and under it was a date. The date of yesterday. Was there some kind of mistake? I quickly realized it was a loop. It was the same woman. She talked about the same thing, had the same expression when she said the rain was both vertically and horizontally. I couldn't find any specific reason as to why it would be on a loop. All I know is that something strange was going on. When I got to the kitchen, it was 7:30 a.m. and I could hear the sound of rain tapping the window. The next 30 minutes, I was distracted by the news, so when the clock reached 8 a.m., I didn't notice that the tapping sound was louder. I eventually found out about it. I finished the sandwiches and then drank the cup of hot chocolate, which wasn't even warm anymore, it was cold. The woman in the news said something that keeps on going around my mind. It rains vertically and horizontally. Vertically? Yeah, that's normal. But what does she mean by saying horizontally? I quickly thought back to what happened in the morning. I opened the door, then the wind and some raindrops were flying directly at my naked top. I didn't feel it back then, but it was quite hurt, like being pinched. I ran up to my room and then checked the window again. It was still covered with fog, but when I squinted my eyes, I could see the sky was raining on the road. And of course, some raindrops were on the window too. I squinted more and more and then, I saw it. A stream of water was being shot near the middle part of the window. It was hard to see due to the fog covering it. The stream of water causes raindrops to fall down the window, and I can't see where that stream was coming from. If it was raining horizontally, how would that be a thing? Where's the source? Rain being vertical is logical because the water came from the cloud up the sky, but horizontally? That doesn't make any sense. Click. It was the sound of the clock hitting 9 a.m. And when I noticed the click, I also felt that the whole room got colder. I tried to look around and then I saw that in the house on the opposite side, I could see a kid looking out the window, being worried. It was the neighbor's kids. I've heard that their dad was disabled and their mom was a newscaster. Of course, their mom was the woman I saw on TV this morning. She usually comes back at 1 p.m. So it would be quite a while before she got back. I jumped on my bed and texted some of my friends. They live out of town, so when I told them about the phenomenon, they were like, no way. Or lair. But I shut them down quickly. I fell asleep at 11 a.m. The sleep didn't last long because when it was about to move to 1 p.m., I woke up to the sound of a car honking. I opened my eyes as slowly, half awake, half asleep. It took me a while to comprehend what the sound was, but when I did, I got up quickly and looked outside the window. The sound of rain tapping on the window, no, the correct word would be shooting at the window. Anyway, it was loud. But it wasn't as loud as the sound of the car honking. I could feel that the rain shooting at the window was so strong the window would break in no time. I squinted my eyes again, and then down the road, I saw that the small bus stop was different. The glass panel on the top was gone. Rain was coming through that rectangle-shaped space. No way. I quietly gasped. The rain has shot through the glass panel, causing it to fall on the bench below. The glass at the bus station was old. A downgraded one, which explains why it fell down, and the glass on my window was still normal. I used tempered glass so that they would be harder to break. I focused back on the honking sound. It came from a black car driving to my direction. It was the car of the newscaster. The mom of the neighbor's kid. She was driving carelessly, moving from left to right and right to left. Dent marks were around the whole car. When she got to the house on the opposite side of mine, the driver's door opened and from it emerged the woman. As soon as she walked out, click. It was 1 p.m. and following that clicking sound was a blood-curdling scream. I was able to see a small glimpse of the woman being pinned on the ground by the rain. I could only hear the scream but couldn't see where it came from, but I assumed it was from the woman. I could have looked more, but that means putting myself at a risk. Because the glass on my window was cracking. At first, I stood still because I was too scared to move. My whole body was white like a ghost. But when it cracked again, I quickly moved back down and then to a side. The glass was finally shot through. Not only that, there were also raindrops leaking down on top of my head. That wasn't a good sign, so I ran downstairs as fast as I could. And like I expected, when the clock hit 2 p.m., the ceiling was being pierced through by streams of water. At least the top floor. Downstairs wasn't looking good either. The main door keeps on making sounds as if it is to break down. I don't know what happened to the neighbor or even to the woman who got out of the car. All I know is that, when it reaches 3 p.m., I might not be alive anymore.